What up, guys? It's NBA FORTBLOX with another video on the channel. Now, in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 best shooting guards in NBA history. This is a sequel to my top 10 best players at every position series. The first episode will be in the description. It was on point guards. But anyways, we're doing shooting guards today. And if you do like the video, make sure to hit that like button. And also, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 40 subscribers on my main channel. Link will be in the description, as always. And 10 subscribers on this channel. And I need all you up to get there. Other than that, let's get started with the video. Now, coming in at the number 10 spot, we have Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady had a 7-year run in which he was one of the best NBA players. From 2000, 2001 to 2006 and 2007, T-Mac averaged 26.9 points, 6.6 rebounds, 5.4 assists, 1.7 threes, 1.5 steals, and 0.9 blocks per game. In that stretch, his 6.5 box plus minus trailed only those of Kevin Garnett, LeBron James, and Tim Duncan. In the heart of that run, McGrady had a season for the ages. In his 2002-2003 blocks plus minus, his 2002 and 2003 blocks plus minus of 9.7 ranks 30th among all-time individual campaigns. His 9.8 offensive blocks plus minus from that season is 7th all-time. He averaged 6.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, and a league-leading 32.1 points per game. Now, I think that's enough for Tracy McGrady, so let's move on to the next person. Okay, so coming in at the number 9 spot, we have George Gervin. Now, here's a little note before we dive into George Gervin's resume. This is coming exclusively from his NBA seasons, 1976 and 1977 to 1985 and 1986. So, yeah, now let's get into his resume. His ABA numbers across 4 seasons were great, especially on the boards, but this is an NBA list. Even with his first 4 professional campaigns omitted, the Iceman did enough to get into the top 10. And his transition, along with those ABA contemporaries to the NBA helped energize the league. It was the best thing that could happen to us when we made the merger, Gervin told the post-game's Jeff Eisenband. I believe that's how you pronounce it. The NBA needed a shock. I think the ABA merger really helped that foundation. They always say Magic Johnson and Larry Bird saved them. I think the ABA did. It gave them youth, talent, and something else. I don't know if he said anything else. Gervin may have been more of a lightning bolt than a shock to his new league. During his 10-year NBA run, Gervin's 26.2 points per game trailed only Adrian Dantley's 26.5, and he won 4 scoring titles, topping out at 33.1 points per game in 1979 and 1980. In the final game of the 1977-1998 campaign, Gervin dropped 63 points to wrap up his first scoring crown. Now, that's a lot of accolades. There are way more accolades throughout his career, but that's probably enough, so let's move on. Now, coming in at the number 8 spot, we have Ray Allen. When you think of the prettiest shooting forms in NBA history, Ray Allen's almost always comes up. That's a big plus for a shooting guard. A person of meticulous habit, Allen once told the Boston Globe's Jackie McMullen that he felt insulted when people referred to his jump shot as a God-given gift. God could care less whether I can shoot a jump shot, Ray Allen said. His picture ski form, I can't pronounce that, came from countless hours of repetition, thousands of jumpers both in front of crowds and in empty gyms, and it was a career-long dedication to his craft that made Allen one of the greatest shooters in the game's history. In the wake of the recent three-point revolution, players are likely to pass Allen's total for career threes. But now, his 2,973 still have him at number 1. Stephen Curry might have passed that by now. I don't know. But anyways, let's move on to number 7. Now, coming in at the number 7 spot, we have Reggie Miller. During his Hall of Fame speech in 2018, Ray Allen praised his sharpshooting predecessor, Reggie Miller. Now, I'm not going to read it all because it is super, super long, but you can look it up online. On top of his combination of competitiveness and craftiness, Miller was an absurdly efficient scorer. He had 13 seasons with 500-plus minutes, a double-digit scoring average, and a 60-plus true shooting percentage. His closest competition on that front consists of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Steve Nash, and John Stockton, each whom had 11 seasons. If you put up the points per game qualifier to 15, Miller still holds a 12-11 lead over Kareem. On top of his numbers, Miller, who is second all-time in threes made, had a killer instinct that made him one of the league's top scorers for well over a decade. And that was never more evident than when Miller scored 8 points in 9 seconds during the 1995 playoffs. And that's going to do it for Reggie Miller. Let's move on to the next person. Now, coming in at the number 6 spot, we have Manu Ginobili. Believe it or not, a blind poll pitting the per 75 possession stats for Manu Ginobili's 10-year peak against the same for Kobe Bryant yielded a 54-46 win for the San Antonio Spurs super sixth man. It's probably not a fair comparison. Kobe played a significantly different and more demanding role than Manu. There's a reason Ginobili's on the list now, while Kobe will show up later. But those per 75 possession numbers from Manu's 10-year peak are plenty impressive. 22.1 points, 5.9 assists, 5.8 rebounds, and 2.1 steals, with a 59.1 true shooting percentage. Now, the obvious reaction to that is, well, Manu only had to play against backups. And while there's some truth to that, it's probably overblown. According to the PBP stats, Ginobili logged over 10,000 minutes alongside longtime Spurs Tony Parker and Tim Duncan. And they're both starters. And in those 10,000 plus minutes, San Antonio scored 112.8 points per 100 possessions, while allowing just 100.8 for a plus minus 12 net rating. Now, that's a lot, but we have to move on to the top 5, so let's go. Now, coming in at the number 5 spot, we have Clyde Drexler. Like plenty of individual players of the era, Clyde Drexler had the misfortune of hitting his peak while Michael Jordan was in the league. It's similar to the Houston Rockets or Los Angeles Clippers of the last 5 years, having to battle the dynastic Golden State Warriors. Just imagine this 5-year run in about any other era. 24.8 points, 6.9 rebounds, 6.0 assists, and 2.2 steals per game, with a plus 24 relative true shooting percentage. Unfortunately, Drexler was often compared to Jordan over those 5 years. And the run ended in 1992 when MJ had his famous shrug game against Drexler's Portland Trailblazers. But of course, he was intensely personal for Jordan. The perfect challenge for a man who always wanted and always need challenges. And he used all the comparisons with Drexler all those non-believers who thought Drexler as good as he was to motivate himself. David Halberstam wrote of the Jordan Drexler matchup. He set out to do nothing else less than destroy not just Portland, but Drexler as well. Jordan may have gotten the better of Drexler during the 1992 finals, but the two went on to win a gold medal together as a part of that summer's dream team. Now let's move on to number 4. Now coming in at the number 4 spot, we have James Harden, and I already know, so just cue the trigger sounds. Before I get a million different dislikes on this video, let me explain why he's number 4. Remember that mention of an argument for 3 different players to snag the number 2 spot mentioned in the intro? We've arrived at that argument. Over the last 5 years, James Harden's box plus minus is an exceptional 9.5. Michael Jordan is the only shooting guard in NBA history with a better 5-year peak box plus minus. And if you're short the peaks to 3 years, the gap tightens with Harden 10 at 10.9 and Jordan at 11.8. Yes, at least according to one metric, Harden is in the middle of a run that's comparable to the game's greatest player. And given the way he scored lately, especially in the 2018-2019 season, that shouldn't be all that surprising. Now, let's move on to number 3 before, again, you guys dislike this video even harder. Now, coming in at the number 3 spot on our list, we have Dwayne Wade. If this list were based on nothing but career numbers, it would be difficult to keep Harden behind Dwayne Wade. The former is the physical embodiment of Morley ball, and his numbers show it. If we confine the Harden-Wade comparison to stats put through their age 29 seasons, Harden just wrapped his up. Though things get eerily close. Harden through 29, 26.6 points, 6.8 assists, 5.7 rebounds, 1.7 steals, 0.5 blocks, plus 6.5 relative true shooting percentage, and plus 7.1 box plus minus. Wade through 29, 27 points, 6.7 assists, 5.4 rebounds, 1.9 steals, 1.1 blocks, plus 3 relative true shooting percentage, plus 6.6 box plus minus. The obvious distinction between the two is Wade's 2006 championship run to cap off his age 24 campaign. That year, Wade led the Heat in playoff points, 28.4, assists, 5.7, and steals, 2.2 per game. He also had over 3 times as many playoff wins over a replacement player as any Miami player. For Wade, the 2 titles he later won with LeBron James could be considered legacy gravy, but even that helps in debates like these. Now let's move on to the top 2. Now coming in at the number 2 spot, we have Kobe Bryant. Now, before we get to why he's here, let's have a little moment of silence for the Black Mamba. Okay, so let's get to why he's here. At the heart of Kobe Bryant's legacy is an unrelenting competitiveness, but his longevity that pushed him up to the number 2 spot on this list. Kobe had a whopping 17 seasons in which he played 500 plus minutes, had a usage percentage of at least 25, and posted an above average box plus minus. Karl Malone is the only other player in the NBA history with 17 such seasons. Tim Duncan, LeBron James have 16, Shaq had 15, and then when we get to the other shooting guards, Jordan and Wade had 14. There's a certain commitment, a lot of sacrifice, and attention to detail that goes into trying to play at a high level for a long, long time, Bryant said, per Mark Medina of the Los Angeles Daily News. To me, it's worth it. If you take off the first and last seasons of Kobe Bryant's career, he averaged 26.4 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 5 assists exactly, 1.5 steals, and 1.4 threes in 18 years. 18 years of 26.4 points per game. Now, I think that's enough, so let's move on to number 1, and I think you can guess who it is. Now, coming in at the number 1 spot, we have Michael Jordan. And do I really need to explain why he's here?
Please, no! 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 No!
Well, guys, that's gonna do it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. And also, go down there and hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 40 subscribers on my main channel. Link will be in the description, as always. And 10 subscribers on this channel. 90, or you have to get there. But other than that, it's your boy NBA FORTBLOX, and I'm out.